With The Forest being the 61st highest rated game on Steam, it's no surprise that End Night Games decided to make a sequel, and in almost every single aspect, Sons of the Forest improves on the original. When it comes to your inventory, the entire layout looks a lot cleaner than the original. We have tons of extra space and we even have lights that we can customize. Crafting is also much more intuitive since any items you cannot combine together are crossed out on the screen, making it easier to find what you're looking for. Crafting also comes with a short animation that gave me a sense of accomplishment. It actually felt like I was combining my tools and trying to survive. The map system is also much better in this game. Instead of a map that you have to find that sometimes tells you what you've already explored, having the GPS already point out areas of interest saves a lot of time while not making the game feel like it's holding your hand. It might point out an area, but it's up to you to find out what's significant about it. Also, it tells you where caves are, which is probably my second favorite change in this game. I love how they utilize the enemies. Whenever you are exploring the woods, you can usually find these humanoid creatures following you. The ones in the woods have never attacked me since they often kept their distance. A couple times they would approach me before running away, and twice I saw them throwing rocks at me. They never seemed hostile, just curious. I also found these different ones out in the hills, and although they seemed willing to defend their territory, they didn't outright attack me either. These guys don't feel like savages attacking anyone who shows up. They feel a lot more realistic. They're cautious. They won't attack you for no reason, but they also aren't afraid to defend themselves. Well, except for these guys in the caves. They will kill you and force you to free yourself from the wall womb? I don't know what that was, but that was kinda gross. Speaking of caves, I didn't get too far since those jerks killed me, but it looked and felt so much more alive than the first game. I also noticed my favorite change yet. You don't get jump scared by super loud bats when you enter the cave. You do get jump scared by normal volume bats though. Another major change I noticed was how to make tents. Instead of using leaves and sticks to make a tent, you now have to use a tarp and sticks. This makes exploring a lot more difficult, since making a tent means you have to find or reuse any tarps that you find instead of just harvesting the woods for a minute. I don't personally like this change, but it does make the game a bit more challenging, which I can appreciate. The game does have a few issues in my opinion. I feel like the sequel lacks in the building aspect. Don't get me wrong, the ability to actually place the logs to custom make your own buildings is amazing. I also love how you can actually build items like the tent and fire in real time, but when looking at all the buildings and traps you can make, I found that almost all of the crafts were the same as the first game. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, I guess I was just disappointed and expecting a bit more. I also noticed a lot of glitches while playing the game. Normally I consider glitches to be pretty annoying, but most of the ones I found were just graphical ones, and they are tame in comparison to some of the ones I found while playing the first game. But I will admit, having objects render in on the beach while you're close to them does ruin the immersion a bit. Keep in mind this is all based on the first day of early access and only an hour or two of playtime. If you want to wait for more content to be added and for the glitches to be fixed, then I would wait a couple months. But as someone who played The Forest, I can honestly say that if you enjoyed the first game, you'll probably enjoy the second game even more.